Hi, welcome to Astrobabble. I'm Donna from Donna B Astrology.
And I'm Lynda from Scallywag Astrology.
And today we're going to be talking about Gemini's um, transits or the big planetary movements that will be happening for 2023, the horoscope for Gemini.
Yep. And we recommend that you listen to this podcast or watch it if you are a Gemini ascendant. But if you're a Gemini sun or moon, you can also listen to it. But we recommend you read your ascendant sign. And we've done a video about that if you don't understand why listening to your ascendant sign is more important. And we'll put a link to that below. And I'm going to
Lovely.
bring up the details for Gemini.
There we go. And today we're starting off with the malefics first. Mars and Mars is known for, the planet of separation, burning, bleeding, aggression, action, drive. So there are good qualities as well as bad qualities with Mars. And this has been pretty much been on your focus for a while because this has been in your first house for longer than it normally usually is. And if anybody is close to Gemini, you would go, yeah, longer than it needed to be. So it'll be moving out of your house and into your second house. So and it's going to be out of there and it's going to station direct on January 12th. The whole period will end March 25th, and it'll enter into Cancer. But the shadow period as well as the shadow period after it has gone retrograde is all in through March. So it will
Yeah.
be in your first house until then, and then it will on March 25th it'll go into Cancer. And that'll go into your second house and move right into your house of finances. So that's what you can expect when Mars changes the signs.
Yeah. Well, Mars is usually in a sign for about 6 weeks or so. And during 2023, it's going to move through other signs as well. But because Mars stationed retrograde in Gemini, which is your first house, it ended up spending about 6 to 7 months in Gemini. So it's been in your first house, which is how people see you. And you might have been people might find you a little bit aggressive or hasty or rash over the last 6, 7 months. When that moves, that should improve. And because Mars was retrograde and will be retrograde up until the 12th of January, and you might find you've still got issues with this up until the 15th of March, things that you wanted to achieve, things to do with your health, your vitality, your appearance, or just how others view you might have been kind of like you keep hitting roadblocks. It's like you just want to go forward, but nope, you've got to go back and redo these things or revisit these things. So once it passed 15th of March, that should improve. You should be able to go a lot more faster and more direct than you have been. But once it does enter Cancer on the 25th of March, like Donna said, it's your house of finances. Unfortunately, Mars there does tend to burn a hole in your pocket, as Donna knows, because she's a Taurus ascendant, and they had all that going on in their second house. And yeah, it tends to kind of end up costing you more money. But lucky for you, it's only going to be there for about 6 weeks. Donna had it for like 6 or 7 months.
I did.
And
And you
then
get
we
used to it. You get used to that kind of energy.
you'll be glad to see the back end of it, though, I imagine.
Yeah, very much so.
And then we have the other malefic, which is Saturn. And Saturn's the planet of no. It's limitations and restrictions. It can also be authority. It can be good. It's, making sure that the rules are followed and that everything's done as it should be. I think of Saturn as a bit like an old schoolmaster who wants everything done exactly right. But, it's limitations and restrictions. It's been in Aquarius for a little while, and it will actually enter into Pisces, which will be a new sign on the 7th of March. So it's been in your 9th house. So matters to do with overseas travel, foreigners, religion, beliefs, the law, publishing, higher education. You could have been running into roadblocks, limitations, setbacks. You might have been trying to achieve something with this and you keep getting no. You need to go back and do this. This form has to be filled out in triplicate, sort of thing. Once it leaves that on the 7th of March, issues to do with those topics should actually ease up a little bit.
And then March 7th, it'll move more into your house of what you're known for. So this is a house where it's not in its own rulership. So Saturn won't be as strong as it has been. But this is still this could also be the foundation of, what you're trying to build, as far as, your 10th house and what you're known for. So it can be good, and it should be if you use the planet energy in a positive way.
Yeah. And I
And
mean,
that's by doing that hard work, and it's by doing that, that foundational stuff, because that's what Saturn's asking you to do. And if you do that, I think Saturn will be less challenging for you.
yeah, I was just thinking, like, while it's in your 9th house, this would have been a good time to, like, if you're doing a master's degree or something, or, becoming an authority or building that foundation in those things. Yes, it's limitations, restrictions, and all that, but it's also building from the ground up something solid and reliable, and it's going to stand the test of time. So there is that. Saturn does tend to be more problematic for people who are born during the night, so between sunset and sunrise, whereas Mars tends to be more problematic for day births, which from sunrise to sunset. So if you're born during the night, this might be more problematic for you, and career-wise, you might be running into red tape. Might not be kind of, you think you're going to get that promotion and maybe it doesn't happen. But, it'd be a really good time, like Donna said, if you can use the qualities of that planet constructively. So if you use this to kind of gain that credibility, that authority, that build your knowledge base or whatever you need to do in the workplace, there's no shortcuts with Saturn. It's not, you kind of can't fake it till you make it. You've got to have the credentials here. You've got to kind of, put in the hard work. It's about persistence.
It's the time to put your nose to the grindstone. It's the hard work. It's the
It
shoulder
really
to the
is.
wheel.
Yeah. And this might be a difficult time, but by the timing, because Saturn's in a sign for about 2.5 years, there might be rewards. That's what I've heard about Saturn. That after, particularly as it's leaving a sign, if you've done the hard work, you kind of get the rewards, sort of thing. So there might be rewards coming from those 9th house matters. And moving on into the 10th, now's the time to establish that reputation, kind of build that credibility, that foundation for your career, regardless of what that career is, or if you don't work, public reputation. But this would be a good time to work on becoming an authority in your field, perhaps, taking on extra work, or this can also be, you could have issues with bosses.
They're older.
Yeah, or an age difference, which could be quite challenging for some older people. With, you have a younger boss, that can be quite challenging too. And Saturn is that kind of age difference thing.
Yeah, that's the energy of Saturn. And it's going to be in the sign for 2 years. So
Mm-hmm.
get comfortable with it. It's not one of those planets that, It'll change. Just hold your breath for a little while. You have to actually deal with this planet.
Yeah, there's kind of no avoiding it, is there?
No, there's no avoiding it.
And then we have the big daddy of them all, Pluto. Pluto is about transformation and honesty and depth, very much phoenix from the flames. It's tearing down the old to rebuild better. It's hard. It can be quite, I don't want to say traumatic, but it can feel traumatic when you're going through it at the time. But having said that, everybody's going through it. It's a generational planet. It's been in Capricorn since 2008, and it's not actually going to be done with Capricorn until the end of 2024. It's going to move into Aquarius in March in 2023, but it's going to dip back into Capricorn a couple of times yet. So if you've got planets or chart points at the end of Capricorn, he's not done with you yet. But that's okay.
No, and you need Pluto. Pluto gives you that energy of what is no longer serving you. So, it is a challenging transit for sure. It's not, and it's one that you need to pay attention to, because it does have that we're going to throw this part of your life out. But it's meant to do that. It's meant to, you have to get rid of some stuff in order to let the new stuff come in and grow in your life. And that's how we grow. So without Pluto, we would, we'd have jam-packed closets and, nowhere to put our new stuff. So Pluto is that energy that gets rid of what no longer is serving you, brings in the new stuff. And it's, if you're a fixed sign, this is harder, but if you're, with Gemini, you like that mobility, that change.
Yeah,
So
they're more
this
adaptable.
might be a little easier. Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit more adaptable.
yeah.
So, yeah, but be ready for it, because that's what the energy of Pluto does, is it brings in change
One
and
good,
can be intense.
yeah, very intense. One good thing about this, Capricorn is actually your eighth house, which is one of the more challenging houses. It does tend to do with other people's money and resources, can also cover things like death. But the eighth house is it's one of the more difficult houses. And you've had Pluto going through it. That's hard. So it's just about done. Yeah, it's going to dip back into that house over the next couple of years, but it's just tidying up things there. It's going to be moving into your ninth house. So matters to do with higher education, the law, publishing, esoteric subjects like astrology, tarot. It's also our beliefs, it's religion, it's foreigners, other beliefs and other cultures, and overseas travel. So these are things that are distant or far or very different from us. So you're going to be, perhaps exposed to more of those, maybe some of your beliefs regarding some of those subjects are going to be tested and tried. So, but at least you're coming out of that eighth house energy. This should be, I think, easier. I just think Pluto through the eighth must be like, oh my.
Anything would be better.
Yeah, that can't be easy. And
Right. It's definitely
particularly,
transformational.
yeah, and particularly, if you've got planets in the eighth or early in the ninth, yeah, when Pluto comes along, it is a generational planet, but it's when it's making aspects, particularly to your inner planets, say your sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars in particular. It can be really hard hitting, and Pluto moves so slowly because Pluto will only move through a certain amount of signs in your lifetime. Pluto can be in a sign anything from 14 to about 30 years, depending on the sign. It's been in Capricorn since 2008, so it's nearly done. You're getting there.
It's nearly done.
Yes.
Yeah, but 1/12 of the entire population is dealing with Pluto exactly where you are, so you're not alone.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, matters to do with shared finances and resources, or loans, taxation, inheritances, death and mortality. All these are issues that might have been not constantly the whole time, but it's been in that house. Those are the house topics, and it's been transforming in some way your attitudes towards those topics.
Yes, should be interesting. Definitely a time to be journaling.
Yes, it will be interesting, because when it does first move into Aquarius, we should get a hint of what the next, and I'm not sure how long it will be in Aquarius, but it will be a long time. Don't you worry about that. It will be a long time.
What the change will be.
Yeah, yeah. So because it's going to keep going back into Capricorn for a little while, but yeah, you pay attention what's happening from, say, the 23rd of March up until, when is it, the 11th of June. That might give you a hint of what's to come.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, and so now we're moving on to the benefics, and Jupiter is the greater benefic. It's the planet that gives us the big good stuff. So, yeah, um, this will happen. It's right now Jupiter is in Aries, and it'll be moving into Taurus May 16th. So that will be a lot nicer, and you'll have the aspects of Jupiter is known for expansion, optimism, uh babies would be another one. But it gives you the big stuff. It tries to expand your world where Saturn tries to contract it. Jupiter is there to expand your vision, expand your outlook, expand your how you view the world. So yeah.
Yeah. Jupiter and Venus, the two benefics, they tend to bring good things. Jupiter can go a little bit to excess. Just with Jupiter going into Taurus, I would just maybe give a little bit of a caution not to go too far, because the 12th house is the house of our undoing. So it's really easy to go a bit too far, because all the planets have their good and their not so good qualities, and Jupiter's not so good quality is it can expand. So try not to go overboard in indulgences, perhaps sometimes. And Jupiter in Aries, you've got a little while, you've got up until May to make the most of that. It's in the 11th. Good times with friends, expand the friendship group. Great for hopes and dreams. Yeah, and networking, people that can help you. Yeah. So that would be my only caution, just because the 12th house is a little bit of a difficult house. But it's also good for working behind the scenes. So if you can channel that into,
Study.
yeah, study, wisdom, yeah, philosophy, yeah. Doesn't mean you can't have fun. Just be aware that there could be a tendency over the next year, because it will be in Taurus up until the 25th of May, 2024. There may be a little bit of a tendency to go big, so just a little caution. And then we have Venus. Venus is the lesser benefic. That's because she travels pretty quickly. So wherever she's bringing her good tidings and all that, they're good, but she's moving so much quicker. So, you got to kind of grab her while you can. We start with Venus in Capricorn, which will be in your 8th house. So maybe over Christmas and that you kind of benefited somehow through partners or significant others. But from the 2nd of January, she moves into Aquarius, which is your 9th house. She'll be there to the 26th of January. 9th house is overseas people, foreigners, it's other beliefs, religions, publishing, law, all those sorts of things. Yeah, so there's chance of romance with somebody from another culture or country from you, because Venus is not just affections, it's also values and beauty and art too. So you might find yourself more interested in those sorts of topics between that time.
And then when she moves into Pisces, January 26th, she'll be in your 10th house. And I liked this specifically because when it moved into my 10th house, it was, I want something in my that inspired me to continue on with my reputation. Anyway, this will be in your 10th house. So this will be a good benefic to further your reputation and what you're known for. So this is a really good house to have Venus going through. She'll be there till February 20th. And yeah, it's a nice house. It's the house where you're known for. So you'll get the benefits of through there. And then she'll go into the 11th house and on February 20th. And that's the house of groups and associations and your hopes and dreams. It's a good house. It's the house of groups and associations. And that's what that's her trademark character, is to bring in that social aspect of your life. So that is definitely a good one. And then she'll move right into Taurus on March 16th, and she rules that sign. So this will give you a benefit for the inner workings, I would think, for yourself, because the 12th house is behind the scenes. It's what do you do internally to move on.
Just with Venus in Taurus, because Jupiter's going to be in Taurus too. So we're going to have both benefics in the 12th house. And I was talking about just being careful of excess when they actually come up and conjoin, or when they're conjunct, might be a key time to kind of really watch that. I know Donna really likes when the benefics are making nice aspects, and the conjunction can be, helpful, but it could also be a time where it's very, very easy to overdo things. And she will be in her own sign, which is really, really nice. But speaking as of Venus and Taurus, we know how to enjoy ourselves and overindulge. So yeah. From the 11th of April, Venus will move into Gemini, which will be the 1st house, which is going to be really nice. When Venus is in your 1st house, you tend to be charming. People, find you charming. You look good. It's a good time to, get your hair cut, buy new clothes, all that sort of thing. Yeah, Venus in the house is really nice. And then from the 7th of May to the 5th of June, Venus is going to be in Cancer, which is your 2nd house. This is your income, finances, and resources. So there could be a bonus at this time, maybe an increase in income, or maybe a gift, or, a resource. So that would be nice.
And then May 5th or June 5th, Venus is going to move into Leo, which is going to be your 3rd house. And this is the house of your relatives, your community, your early education, how you talk, how you communicate with people. This is also going to be where Venus is going to retrograde. So this aspect of your life will be revisited a couple of times, and that's why it's retrograding, or it's retrograding in your house, and that is why you'll be revisiting these subjects, is because Venus is retrograding there. So you'll revisit those subjects of what you do with your cousins and your sisters and your siblings and your early education. This is where Venus is going to retrograde.
Just a note on Venus retrograde too. It's going to be retrograde from the 22nd of July to the 3rd of September. But if we factor in the shadow period, it's going to be from 19th of June to 7th of October. Not usually a good time to start new relationships at this time. If it happens, it happens. But traditionally, they don't kind of tend to last the distance. So if you meet somebody between 19th of June and 7th of October, maybe it's not going to be a long-term thing if that's what you're looking for. Yeah, just something to be aware of. But when Venus is retrograde, we tend to be reevaluating things like our affections, our relationships, art, beauty, and our values. So, yeah. So with Venus retrograding in the 3rd, maybe our relationship with a sibling is changing somewhat. Maybe we've always kind of been this way, and maybe we find by changing things up a little bit that alters a little bit perhaps. Or how we deal with people that we see in the neighborhood, in the local area with neighbors, maybe that changes somewhat.
Good time to start a beautification project in your community.
From the 8th of October, we've got Venus in Virgo, which is actually where she's in fall. So Venus isn't as strong as she usually is in this sign. That'll be from the 8th of October to the 4th of November. This is in your 4th house. So this is your parents, your home and living situation, real estate matters. You might be beautifying the home at this time. Maybe, your relationship with your parents or people you live with should be a little bit more harmonious at this time, but it's in Virgo. So Virgo can be a little bit nitpicky. So, even though it's all how it is, do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be harmonious, but it's not going to be as harmonious as, say, Venus and Taurus or Libra. It's a different vibe, but that doesn't mean that it can't be nice.
Right. Yeah. It's Venus is still a benefic and she does bring good things. So yeah. Yeah. So, and then she'll be moving on November 8th. She'll be moving into Libra, her own sign, and this will be your 5th house. And this is your house of creativity and children, hobbies, what you do for fun. So this is be a great time for you Geminis.
Yeah. Venus
With Libra
in
moving.
dignity in the 5th. And I mean, that's her house for joy. Nice.
It is. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
This should be a brilliant time for you. Yeah. Really
Exactly. Yeah.
good for socializing.
Yeah.
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 From the 4th of December to the 29th of December, Venus is going to be in Scorpio. So this is your 6th house. 6th house is house of illness. It's daily routines. It's pets. It's service to others. You might find at this time that this is a good time, probably getting along harmoniously with people that you work with or people that you employ, or it could be a great time to, get the pet,
Right.
get a new pet
Exactly.
or to get the pet beautified. I'm kind of thinking, depending on that time of year, December. Yeah, I'm just thinking of all those dogs that need, grooming and all that sort of stuff. But I should imagine that's a pretty regular occurrence. Maybe it goes a lot more.
Maybe extra poofy for them palms for the poodles.
Maybe it's an easier time for that. I'm not sure. But yeah, with the house of illness, the 6th house is a little bit difficult. So, Venus can bring a little bit of lightness here. Perhaps there's some good news. Maybe there's something that you've been working towards and something, improves at this stage. Venus is benefic. She brings good things. So this should hopefully help out somewhat.
And then December 29th, she'll be moving into Sagittarius, the 7th house. So we'll be looking at, getting a benefic from, your significant other. This is a great time to, have that Venus in the 7th house.
Yeah, nice. Coming up to New Year's and you know, if you don't have someone, maybe this is the time you meet someone who might be long-term potential. But for established relationships, and not just, you know, significant others and romantic partners, but for close friendships, for business partners, for one-on-one interactions with others, this is just a nice, harmonious sign. And it's fun. Sagittarius is a fun
right? And
sign. Yeah.
Jupiter will be in its sign of Taurus then. So lots
Mm,
of, I mean, it'll be really, really good.
yeah. It'll be interesting. They'll be in mutual reception, but they'll actually be in an aversion to each other, which is a
Yeah, but
shame,
Jupiter, the ruler, will be
in the 12th.
getting that beneficness from Venus.
Yeah, but they kind of can't see each other. That's the only problem.
I know, I know. I
Oh,
will get
I'm showing
benefics
my
from
Capricorn ascendant here.
any way I can.
Venus is a Donna is a Venus ascendant, and I'm a Capricorn ascendant. So she's ruled by Venus, and I'm ruled by Capricorn. I'm like, nope, they can't see each other.
And I'm like, yeah, but I can pull it in through Jupiter
Yeah.
because I'll be ruling Jupiter. Jupiter will be in my house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
So I
And
will be able to.
you can
Anyways,
spin it.
um, the eclipses for the Geminis will happen in the 11th house. The solar eclipse is going to happen in 29 degrees Aries. So we're going to be changing the axis of where these eclipses are happening. Think back about 18 years and where you were, and these might be the same subjects that are coming up or readdressed in a different way or a bigger way. The solar eclipse happening April 20th is in your 11th house. So, you know, that's where you're going to be, you know, starting those new things with groups and associations and, you know, people that support you.
Yeah, it could be sudden, surprising events related to groups, friends, organizations happen at that time.
Yeah.
We've got the lunar eclipse on the 5th of May. This will be finishing out the Scorpio eclipses, because we've been having eclipses in Scorpio and Taurus, which are the 6th and the 12th house for you over the last year or 18 months or so. And the 6th and 12th are kind of difficult houses, but the eclipse is going to be moving into the 5th and the 11th. And I mean, eclipses bring sudden events, you know, eclipse people in and out of your life. So at least they're more fun houses. So, you know, who knows? You could that solar eclipse of 20th of April might bring in some exciting new friends. That lunar eclipse in the 6th house, maybe it kind of draws a line under some illness, or yeah, it could be related to a pet. Lunar eclipses sometimes about endings.
And then in the fall, we'll have the two eclipses. One is going to be October 14th, and that's going to be at 21 degrees Libra, and that'll be in your 5th house. So that'll be some exciting news that's going to be coming in through your house of creativity, which is nice. And then the lunar eclipse is going to happen in your 12th house, and that's going to be in Taurus. So you've experienced the energy of this before, being in Taurus, because we've been having our eclipses in Taurus, as Lynda has said. And this is going to be in your 12th house, and it's going to be at 5 degrees of Taurus. So this will be things that are going to be changing more inwardly.
Mm-hmm.
Is that even a word?
I was just thinking that solar eclipse in the 5th house, that could be eclipsing in new babies,
Could be.
because 5th house is also children. So
Yeah. Yeah,
could be a new romance or new creativity. So yeah,
absolutely. It's a nice house.
it is a nice house. Yeah. So that is Gemini 2023 in review. If you follow us during the year, we also do the full moon and the new moon horoscopes. We go through the horoscopes for each sign. We look at the astrology of the full and new moon, and then we look at what's happening with the planets afterwards, whether they're changing signs, what they're doing to each other, the aspects between the different planets. So yeah, that would be great. If you're not already subscribed, if you subscribe, follow, like, that would be great. And
Thank you.
Donna, what are you
And
doing? And where can people find you?
I am at donnabastrology.com right through here. And you can get a hold of me. And there you can look at that I do natal readings, year ahead readings, as well as horary and electional. And I also as well do work with crystals and supportive care for healing.
Mm-hmm.
And Lynda, what do you do and where can people get a hold of you?
I'm at Scullywag Astrology. That's astrology.scullywag.com. I do natal readings. So I look at your chart, tell you, what things you might need to watch out for, what, good potential there is. I do relationship readings and also year ahead readings. So yeah,
Wow.
thank you for listening, and please feel free to leave comments during the year how you're finding the different motions of the planets changing signs, whether Saturn and Mars and Pluto are giving you drama or whether Venus and Jupiter are bringing you luck. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Happy New Year, Gemini.
Thank you. Bye-bye.